Hey guys, welcome back to the action. We've got Team Pretty versus the other team here for you, and we are seeing Team Pretty balled up about 50 kilometers off the center in their armor team, with a little bit of a more kitey setup, and the other team staggered out from the edge of the arena to the center. It's gonna be really interesting to see what we got here, Ryan.
Yeah, and they actually warped in at 90 degrees. So even though like their logistics pilot and the Osprey is further away, 50 out, he's actually quite actually close to Team Pretty. So these angles actually play a factor, and the match is now starting. So we're gonna see these links go off.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting as well to see how well that Ferox can pick off the tackle. This is, compared to the last match, a much more standard setup. We're seeing pure shield against pure armor with the slasher built into it. As we're starting to see some damage coming onto the Oracle now, and the Thrasher of the other team taking a lot of hits, the Osprey getting reps on it, but it's still getting very low on shield. We're seeing some pressure coming onto the Osprey as well now from Team Pretty.
Yeah, and the Osprey is actually local tank, so he's able to rep himself back up. But any sort of like rep bots or anything of that will actually be super helpful for him. But I don't believe that the other team actually have any sort of bots that they're probably going to be able to use.
Absolutely, the Osprey with the Ansel rep deals very well with damage in the short term, but long-term sustained pressure will break it down eventually. But this Oracle here looks like it's going to die a lot quicker. The damage on the Osprey is really reduced, but this Oracle just catching reps in around half armor. This Ogre doing well to keep it up with its small reps. The Oracle's still taking lots of pressure though, lots of DPS on this Oracle, but not a lot of tank, and we're starting to see it really start to go down here. The Algos as well now getting shot, but the Osprey still taking hits from Team Pretty, still boosting with those Ansel reps.
And then I wonder if they're shooting at the Algos to try and split those Augur reps, so then that way they can take down the Oracle, because he is still holding on, just barely. He's all now he's in structure. I don't know if he'll be able to last quite much longer.
Absolutely, and the Oracle just about to go down here, and the Algos is in structure as well. We see the Oracle go down, and the Ferox is doing really well onto this Algos, but this Osprey as well is now bleeding into armor. And this, if this Logi goes down, still going to be very difficult for both teams. We got to really see, but this Osprey just back up to full shields now, and the pressure from the Oracle coming off that Osprey, allowing it to tank a lot easier.
Yeah, they almost actually traded, which would have been super good for Team Pretty, but now that they're not able to actually get this Oracle, they just lost both their battle cruiser and destroyer for nothing really.
Absolutely, and they're still applying to this Osprey, and eventually it will run out of Ansel reps and it will break. But it's whether or not the other team can capitalize on these wins before, on these kills before then, and if they can actually remove some of Team Pretty's other ships as well. We're seeing some damage come onto this Slasher now. It's worth bearing in mind this Slasher is a shield frigate, but because of its afterburner, it does very well at negating any damage coming into it. And we're seeing a bit of a deadlock here as both teams position themselves to go in for the next attack. With the Thrasher coming in on the Slasher as well to try and get that tackle, and we're starting to see more damage come onto that Slasher now as well, but the Osprey taking hits again.
Yeah, and Slasher is now dropping deep into armor. Oh, and he's gone.
Goodbye,
Instantly
Mr.
got.
Slasher, and there's no tackle left on this Team Pretty team now, but this Osprey's still getting low. This
Yeah,
Abaddon's still
he's good.
playing well.
Yeah, I don't know if he changed directions or what, but the Abaddon started applying really, really well, and now I don't know if this Osprey's going to be able to hold on. I don't think he reloaded his ASB.
Yeah, it's just slowly starting to break here. But the other thing behind this as well is the other teams still have the Rogue, they still have their Ferox, and they still have their Thrasher. They can go in there, they can tackle, and they can apply huge amounts of DPS to whatever they choose to primary next. They just got to burn on top of it. So even if this Osprey goes down, there's still a lot of work for this Team Pretty team to do.
Yeah, but Team Pretty does want to actually kill something from the other team because that way it avoids them getting a dominating victory, which gives them obviously 3 points instead of 4, even if they win. So overall, it will may potentially help them later on in the bigger picture rather than just this match.
Absolutely, not a whole lot of damage coming onto this Abaddon just yet. It's slowly starting to take some armor damage. The Ogre has an easy time knowing which ship it wants to rep today. But the Osprey is still back up on full shields now. It still seems to be tanking okay.
I wonder if he got a reload off or if the Abaddon just got spooked and wasn't able to hit him. I'm not quite sure what was going on. These guys are actually getting. The Augur is sitting almost 90 kilometers away from the center of the arena. So they're kind of on the edge over here.
Absolutely, but this Abaddon now is really starting to get swamped by everything on the other team now. It's all the damage will be applying, the blasters from that rogue, the Ferox itself, everything is going to be hitting this Abaddon, and we're seeing it
And
slowly break through its armor now.
and I'm watching it. It's still shooting at the Osprey, but it looks like the Osprey actually got close and is just orbiting him now, so he's not actually able to track and hit the Osprey. So that's
Absolutely.
probably what happened.
No tackle left on this Team Pretty team, and it's really starting to show now because this Osprey, it can just get under the beams of this Abaddon and it can just stop itself from taking damage, and maybe it could pull off a reload here. I've seen a little bit of damage come onto the Ferox now, the Abaddon just trying to hit something as it gets low.
Yeah, although he is quickly dropping into hole, and I don't think this Augur can keep him alive under all the DPS of the other team.
It would truly be a shock if this Ogre managed to avoid a dominating victory if it was by itself, but this Abaddon just going to break down the structure, and it looks very good for the other team right now to pick up this dominating victory and put them even further ahead in the league.
Yeah, that's a lot of points added for them, and they're already on top. So now all that's left is this poor little Augur, which obviously won't be able to do much on his own.
Yeah, I think the Osprey could safely and calmly reload its Ansel reps in this situation. Amazing win here for the other team, just barely managing to hold on with that Osprey. And now we're starting to see the damage coming on top of the Ogre, and now the Ogre are burning away, burning for freedom to try and keep itself alive, but being hunted down by this Thrasher.
And if you're watching this, the Augur is actually repping the Osprey as well. He, having no targets left, he targeted everyone else and started repping. So, mad props to him for kind of like looking out for his Logi bros.
Yeah, that's some aggressive logic piloting right there. When you got nothing left to rep on your own team, start repping the other team.
And Lysis and the Kestrel throwing out mad props to him as well, local.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Ogre just slowly starting to break. Is there anything that you feel that Team Pretty could have done differently to turn this match around for them?
I'm not quite sure. I think if they had maybe had that Oracle lived a little longer and they had traded it for the Osprey, I think that would have, obviously greatly helped their chances. But I think they just were overrun, and obviously the other team's piloting was really on point.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not enough tank in that Oracle to last long enough for them to be able to break through that Osprey, which in the end proved critical as we start to see this Ogre go into structure now. A fantastic performance once again by the other team, proving that they really are the team to beat in the Major League.
Yep, and as this Augur pops, the victory goes to the other team, and we will send it back to Apophany in the studio.